guys, welcome back to episode 4 of our build breakdown of the Porsche 997 drift car. In the last couple of days we've mated the refreshed transmission to the LS3 using the adapter plate. We refreshed all the seals, checked the fork, clutches, the works. Now it's in the car. The big question on everyone's mind is, will it hold the power? As you can see, a lot of the other bits and pieces are being assembled and being put together at the moment, namely the spaghetti mess of wiring. Starting from the front, we've got headlight wiring, fans installed, batteries installed, all the other wiring and bits and pieces are installed. One of the other things that we're trying to do with this car, although the car is running a PDM, we're also running individual fuses and relays. Something is a bit of a fail-safe that Sultan likes to do with a lot of his builds, just to eliminate chance of any issues at the track. It is still quite a bit of a mess inside, but as you can tell, a lot of things are going on. The ECU, main fuse box and things like that will be mounted to the back over here. A very cool feature that Sultan wanted to run was a carbon box that you'll see in the final reveal that will enclose all of this. So you're not actually going to see very many wires throughout the entire build, which is definitely going to add to the cleanliness of the build. The engine is in the car, fully refreshed. The majority of the engine wiring is done, the harness is done. We're just buttoning up the intake, fuel lines and the rest of the exhaust. Another fancy part that we've got going on here is Munir here is designing some footrests to go in the passenger and the driver side footwells. So they're going to have just a gusseted piece of aluminium. It's going to be coated, powder coated. It's going to basically help Sultan rest feet and also kind of look very cool and sleek in the car. The custom pedals that Sultan and I have been talking about are installed in the car. You can see here, completely custom pedal box that Sultan's designed. Different lengths than what we've run previously on the Bentley as well as the Corvette and the IS. So it's going to be quite an interesting addition to the car, running completely different pedal box than usual. You can see here, we've got fancy little buttons on and off and a lot of other bits and pieces. I'll let the guys continue the wiring job and we'll get back to it soon. Another little interesting part about the car is that we're running a 200 amp breaker, and that's simply to run this fan. Sultan mentioned earlier in one of the previous episodes, this is a brand new fan that's been redesigned by his partner with Black Boost. It's a 1000 watt fan, so this thing has some serious pull to it. So, I mean, when they run by themselves, it sounds like a plane taking off. It's insane. All right, so right now we're going to go through some of the details of the parts that Sultan's been designing, namely the fuel cell, the handbrake and the shifter assembly. Also the pedals for the pedal box and a couple of other cool little parts I think you guys will like. Go there right now.
So what's up guys? I'm here today with my boy Reese.
How's it guys?
We're gonna assemble some of the parts today. We just wanted to show you before we put them on the car. Obviously we'll start off with the seat brackets. We did some seat brackets that will suit me, that's why it's a bit extended, and it's gonna go on the stock bolt location for the factory car, and we just added our small logo, and we tried to follow the same design language that we wanted to do for the handbrake. We'll get into that for a second, but so the passenger side, driver side, both are done. Came back from powder coating, we're about to install it. Thought I would show you guys how it looks before it's on the car. We did our own collapsible steering column, something that suits the Porsche, the lengthwise, NASCAR style. These are the hangers also back from powder coating. Obviously, there's this one, so we can adjust the height and the location. We already did a few measurements before welding it and powder coating, so the size is pretty good. And we also added the screen bracket towards in the middle of this. We incorporated it with the hangers for the steering column. These are the prototypes because we're running our own pedal box. These are the prototype oil canisters that for the cylinders that we're going to use. It came back from the powder coating because we machined the bottom so it can run what we want for the fittings. Hopefully the future ones, we're thinking of doing injection molding, plastic ones. I think we have a small glimpse of how it looks. We might add it to the video so you guys can have an idea of how the future one looks, but it still follows the same design language. These holes are go on a bracket that's on the car already. Hopefully Sam will add a clip of that. Looks pretty cool. And this is a lot bigger than what we're going to do in the future, but it's around the same idea. So back to the pedal box. These are just 3D printed pedals, just a sample. The ones that we use are a bit different. We already casted them, and the stand that we want to run with, it feels very comfortable. I've done it on a few cars already, so just wanted to show you the reason why. We haven't cleaned this one yet, but obviously the reason why we designed it this way is because we can adjust the height and the tilt according to where the pedal is. The one that's on the Porsche right now is actually even different than the prototypes the first ones we had. The product that we're thinking of launching has no welds on the bracket. It's all steel, and it all holds together with the cylinder itself. It's a very trick way to do it. I think it's nice. I'm gonna try them out on the Porsche, which is very similar to what we want to run. We've already put it on the Bentley and the Corvette and the IS. And but different versions. Obviously, some are longer, some are shorter. So
almost a universal fit.
Yeah. The only thing we just change is the length of the pedal, right? So it worked so far. Even the handbrake, we tried. This is the new design we're going with. This is the handbrake mount with the gear shifter bracket. Gear lever is done. Have our logo on top, and obviously there's a logo here that holds it together. So the plan is the shifter is here, and the handbrake is done. Also, the bottom is billet, top is billet with the logo, carbon fiber shaft, and it's a reverse mount. So if that's there, and this is here, and that's how I usually drive most of my cars. The steering is here. It's pretty much a perfect fit. So these are prototypes. The one that's on the Corvette is 10 centimeters shorter, reverse mount, and it works very nice for a car with a high tunnel.
Let's also not forget to mention what you've gone with for the shaft.
Yeah, it's super light. It's actually solid. It's a pure carbon fiber. It's pre-preg tube. We'll see how it goes. It's still a prototype. We'll see how. Might not like it. I might like it. We'll see. But it is a reverse mount. We did have a feel for the bracketry before, and I actually really love it. The grip is really nice. The way the cylinder works is really good. So I just wanted to do some different styles of like the handle itself. Some people like grip. I usually tend to go with like a uniform or universal fit. Like I don't like having something to tell me where to hold. You know, the like a grip stab.
Handle.
Yeah, I don't like the handle. I like something smooth. Even the Corvette has that smooth stab.
Yes.
So yeah, hopefully
it's a cleaner finish at the end of the day as well.
It's for me. It's easier to it's right there. You just pull it. Like the OCD sometimes kicks in middle of the race. Oh, the wrong finger or whatever. This is just one piece and you yank it. So yeah, this is what we have. We have a lot more. Hopefully, Sam is going to shoot B-roll of the stuff.
Definitely in the B-roll, I think you'll pick up on the design language used throughout all the parts. Because like you said before, the cutouts for the handbrake or the shifter housing or the seat brackets they're all similar in style.
Yeah.
Like they're going to mesh very nicely together in the car and kind of bring everything together.
Hopefully. And we'll clear the table, and I want to show you what we have, what I've had in mind to do for a long time, specific style of fuel system. This is my new fuel system that I designed, and I've always wanted to do something to what I want exactly. It's standard, the 24 bolts outside that works with most of the fuel systems or tankies, fuel tanks that are available on the market are FTI or SFI or FIA approved. I'm not designing a bladder system. I'm going to use what's existing in the market, but this, in my opinion, is a bit different than what I can find, and we might go commercial with this, with the other stuff. We're going to test it out on the Porsche, and this is a prototype. There are a few mistakes. Well, it's not mistakes. I'd say after finishing it, seeing it in front of me, I want to change it. Let's start off with what it is. So it's basically standard. What you see, you have a filler neck. Your fuel gauge goes in here. The fuel level sender goes in here. This is the vent or check valve, or breather for the tank. I'm going to tell you where the mistake on that. I'll show you the mistakes because I have no shame in them. It's a prototype. I'm going to test it out. And obviously the main product I can fix. Maybe they're not mistakes, maybe they're actually good ideas. But so basically the idea is you have one pickup pump and dual senders. You can run brushless pumps or you can run standard. I'm running triple Walbro. Reese already explained about it earlier. One is a sender, one is a feeder, two are senders, and you have your return line, and they're all on this side. The reason being is because the design, I'll show you now in a second. So if we flip it over to this. So on the other side, if we can align it.
It's not fit.
So on the other side, this is a prototype. So in the future, we're either gonna do a pressed version, billet, or even I might do like extruded. We're still not sure, but we want to see the function actually. So this bucket goes on the main plate. It even has to go on a certain side. So bucket goes on the main plate. That means even if you take off this side, if you take off the cap, the bucket stays on the main plate in the tank. So that means what happens is, with the bucket, hold this for a sec. So what happens is, these are the hangers. So you got the pickup hanger, and you got, hold this for a sec. Yeah. We still didn't bolt anything to show you guys how it works. So it might be genius, it might be like, what, might be, I don't know. But, so we got two senders here, one pickup there, one pickup there for the surge tank. These go inside the surge tank. So when you pull it out, this goes out with the smaller piece outside, and the main piece with the bucket stays in the car or in the tank. So you can service your, we can service your fuel pumps if you have a failure on the track or drag strip or whatever. And this little hole here is pretty standard. The feeder pump goes in here, and it feeds the sender pump, the bucket. The sender pumps go out from here, and that's a return line. So it is a bit intricate. It took us a while because there was not enough space to design the way I wanted this way. So it took us a while to get it right on the design. Obviously, I already found the mistakes that I wanted to change, or I feel like I want to change. Let's put it this way. So the things that I want to change or change my mind on is obviously the vent. When they machined it wrong. Not the machine shop, I don't know, there was loss in translation. whether it comes to the design or whoever. But they did it was an M23. We're running maximum dash 10 vents. This is a dash 8, so we just machined a small piece and it goes on. We did it wrong PCD, so we redralled it. It was fine. Run standard fuel level senders. Most of them work on this one. These small holes here, for whoever's wondering why they're here, is because if you're on the track, it's a standard. I think it's a M8. No, it's much bigger. I think a M10. I have on design. So you just hook it up and you can pull it out instead of yanking anything. So right now, because there's no fittings, it's easier to go on and off. One thing I'm gonna change, obviously, if you see here on the neck, it's flat and we have an O-ring, which is in my opinion, the right way to do it. We're doing a gasket here and the standard gasket on the bottom. In the future, I think, depending on how this goes, I want to change the mid gasket into an O-ring. That way it's easier to take on and off the track, because everyone knows when you take off the main plate, the gasket goes all over the place, especially after torquing it on the tank. But
Absolute
for this
nightmare to put back on in the middle of the track.
yeah, so it's fine for a prototype. Reese hooked us up with the gaskets. They're all approved or something.
Yeah, so these gaskets are Viton gaskets. It's an oil and gas specialty style gasket. Depending on what fuels you're going to run, you can run alcohol-based fuels or high octane fuels, race fuels, and all of that. It's also very heat resistant. It's not going to corrode over time for the guys running ethanol, things like that. So it's basically the bee's knees when it comes to gaskets.
Reese comes from an oil and gas background, so
I know the guys, so we got a good deal.
yeah. So he hooked us up. Basically, he got us the seal for the fuel sender, the inner piece, and the standard for the tank. It's all done.
We'll see it out of 2mm Viton rubber gasket.
And that's why right now, without the gasket, when we do put it together, you'll see that there's a slight dip. It was designed for the gasket, so once the gasket goes on, it's all flush. We already tried it, it's pretty good. But in the future, I think we'll just raise this back up and we'll have an O-ring just like the fuel sender. The reason why we designed the fuel sender to be like this is because some guys would want to have the filler on the tank. Some guys might change and want to have a neck towards a sender or a feeder or somewhere. So basically this one stays on, and then you can change the top to whatever you want to have, a neck or just a cap on top. Yeah, so basically, yeah, as you see, it's still fresh. We didn't even powder coat or anodize any of the aluminum pieces that are going inside. We're gonna test it out on the Porsche. Hopefully it works. It's all engraved. We just refreshed the Store 17 logo, but I don't know if you pick up on the camera. We've got pump 1, 2, the return. It says surge tank, and it says lift pump, vent. Basically, it's and all the labels for the positive and negative, and if you want to run brushless pump. So, as an idea, I think this should be the bee's knees. I'd rather open 11 bolts with an O-ring than take 26 off with a gasket. So,
absolutely, it's serviceability on a track,
yeah.
especially in competition. It's much more user-friendly.
Yeah.
It looks very, very cool.
Yeah,
I think
I think it looks cool, to be honest. 2 fittings here. Once all the fittings are on, it's on the car. It should look cool, but we'll see how it goes. It should work too. So, I mean, yeah, we got all the positive and negative terminals for the lift pump and all the pumps and the fuel level sender. It's all here. We just need to assemble it. The boys are busy finishing up the wiring in the car. I wanted to explain, this is one of the main things that I'm putting on the car, other than the pedal box and handbrake stuff. I think this is just, I really think this is cool. I haven't seen anything like this on the market. I'm just curious, if it works, there's interest, we might go commercial with it, or not. But obviously, it's a prototype. We're gonna see if it has any flaws, and I'll be the first to admit if it does, and if it doesn't, we'll see.
Alright guys, now you've seen what we've done in this episode. Lots to do, and not a lot of time to do it. Hopefully the next video you'll probably see us, fingers crossed, start the car for the first time, as well as go through the rest of the assembly. The wheels are going to be back, which are going to look absolute killer, as well as a lot of the other body parts, hopefully on the car, if everything goes well. Store 17, things never go well, let's see. Right now, we're going to have to let these guys finish wiring, because as of today, we have 8 days before this has to be on a plane to go to Ultra Race. See you in the next one.